Me. Streaming. Go streaming, Loki. Hey guys, what's going on? Hi Zoe, hi Ibito, hi Eris. How's it going? I'm fine. For everyone who's already talking about the earthquake stuff, it's fine. I was apparently there for both of them. I didn't feel either one of them. I don't know what's wrong with me that I can't feel earthquakes when they're happening, but I missed it twice. Amada's been in Indiana. She's actually coming home tonight back to LA, so I'm going to pick her up at the airport later on. But if anyone's concerned about how the earthquakes affected me or anyone else in LA, chances are they didn't affect us at all, unless something fell off a shelf, which, as far as I know, didn't happen much at all. So it's fine. Hi Hiddles Muffin. Hi Taz. My Thor movie collection came in today, so I'm watching the first Thor. That's cool. Your hair looks good. Oh, thanks. My hair is. I just got it cut. My friend Scuba Steph just cut it for me, so it's shorter than it was last week. But we're getting it managed. It was getting too long, so that's where we are. Hey Nolan. So yeah, today was an interesting day. Apparently, there's some bad weather elsewhere in the country. So Amada was supposed to already be home today by like 11 a.m., but her flight got canceled from Chicago to whatever place she was going in between to LAX. So she was real upset about that last night, but then I guess after a few phone calls, they ended up saying, hey, we can still get you home on the same day, but not until 8 p.m. So she's currently on a plane on her way back to LA, which is nice because it means she doesn't have to waste a whole day. Kelly, congratulations on your turtle. Planning on watching Stranger Things 3. We're going to definitely binge that. We might actually binge it tomorrow. Hey, Peyton. To go. Bye, Taz. Is there going to be another European stream? Have a wonderful day. If I'm feeling real frisky, I might do one earlier in the day, later this week, but I would wait probably until next Monday. Unfortunately, my morning was real busy, as I was saying. Amada's flight got canceled. A friend of mine called like at 9 o'clock this morning and said, hey, I also went to somewhere for the 4th of July and our flight got goddamn ice cream truck. Of course, there's an ice cream truck. And he was saying, my truck is on the wrong side of the street. It's going to get ticketed. So can you drive up to Van Nuys and move my truck so I don't get a parking ticket? And that was like the first thing in the morning I did was just leave my apartment, go in his house, get his truck keys, move his truck, and then I went and saw Detective Pikachu. It was okay. So here we are. It's afternoon now, and we're doing a stream. We're doing it, but unfortunately I didn't have any time in the morning to do a morning stream for the European people. Hey Marcy. I'm doing alright, Peyton. Hey man, good to see you. Hopefully Amada will come home safely. Working on my Jasmine cosplay at the moment. Any nerd-related stuff soon. Yeah, Christine, I was at Anime Expo half the week. So from Wednesday to Thursday, I was working at a booth, the Nendoroid, 1000 Nendoroids display at Anime Expo for Good Smile Company and For Fans by Fans. And they were long days, and it was one of those either you're working really hard or you're standing there completely bored kind of jobs. I don't think it's for me, honestly. I don't think it's my kind of gig. I don't think I'm going to be doing a lot more of that, but I was offered an opportunity to work, so I took it, and it was okay. So, yeah, I was at Anime Expo. I saw a couple people I knew. I made a couple new friends, but for the most part, I just yelled at passersby about how cute chibi figures are. And they were cute, but very expensive. Very, very expensive. Um, the hair length looks good on you. Glad to hear you and Amada are doing well. Weren't affected by the earthquake. Yes, that is correct. My friend Bella's birthday is coming up. Tell Bella I said happy birthday. Jasmine cosplay like the Disney character, I assume that is. Whoa, I was just drawing a picture of Loki and getting pissed off at the eyebrows. Eyebrows are tough before birthday, Cheyenne. Cool name. Is it right before your birthday right now? Eyebrows are tough because they can come out too thick very easily and they can come out too thin very easily. They can look angry too easily. They can look sad too easily. So keep at it. Why? Why do I get so tired when I start talking? I think it's the breathing. I think I just have to breathe more consistently. Well, I'll pass out if I keep doing that. Other than that, nerdy stuff. Other AX stuff I did was I helped to set up and break down an Anime Expo after party on Saturday. Party plus ultra. With Anime Pasadena and crew. And it went all right. It was very warm. We had, it was warm. It was a warm time. No air conditioning. So that was rough. So that all happened. And it was fine. I was basically not security, but I was like monitoring shit. We had dedicated security guys, but I was sitting there essentially helping them watch the backstage area. I don't know. That after party was whatever. Got a lot more than where that comes from 2 weekends from now. What else we got going on? Hey, Silver Sky Dragon. I hope Amada is doing. Hopefully she has a safe flight. Yeah, she's fine. Nolan wants to talk about the Little Mermaid controversy. It's not a controversy. It's gonna be fine. Okay. Miss talking to you. Well, we're here talking now, so don't worry about it. Do you share your pics somewhere, Cheyenne? Yeah, go follow Cheyenne and see what that cosplay ends up turning out looking like. A job is a job. You take what you can. That's right, Silver Sky Dragon. I'm not trying to get caught in like a full-time thing that I don't enjoy, but if it's a little gig here and there, I don't mind taking on something that I'm not crazy about. How's the kitty doing today? Well, she's all curled up in her bed. Let me see if I can. She's right there. Yeah, I see you looking at me. So that's what the kitty is. She's just hanging out in her bed. She was complaining before about something. I don't know what. Sometimes she just hangs around and goes, ow, meow. And I say, what's going on? And she doesn't say anything back because she's just a little kitty cat. Let me move this a little further away from there. Honestly, I think the Ariel controversy was drummed up by a news magazine. Free publicity. I don't know. People are pissed off about it. Like, people get pissed off about weird things. So what are you gonna do? The red slave one, Eris, slave Jasmine in chains. Hopefully, not sure how to make the chains. Halloween stores will usually have chains, plastic chains, if you need big, goofy-looking chains. I wouldn't try to use real metal chains. Although they're easy to come by, they might come across as a weapon at a con. I think Ariel controversy, okay. Okay. It's also a good anime is The Promised Neverland. I haven't seen that one. I've been watching Evangelion, though. Weird. It's a weird show. A lot of long moments of contemplation, quiet reflection, and sort of self-pity and doubt and emotional stuff that's a little hard to dig through sometimes, but what are you gonna do? So Evangelion is fun so far sometimes when the robots fight, but other than that, it's not my favorite anime, honestly. So that's my thought on that. Gonna meet up with some Belle and Ariel cosplayers. They make their dresses themselves. So beautiful. Oh, that'd be cool to have a cosplay group. Just, try and keep the egos out of it. That's the biggest thing with cosplay groups, is that once you start working with people, everybody wants to be the star of the show. So do what you can. Kelly just dyed hair blue. Might do it white or silver. Don't know which one I should do next. I don't know. Blue's cool. Maybe go green after that. Then you can just go through the spectrum. Speaking of the Little Mermaid, drawing her. Oh, that's cool. Always just tag me on some of those drawings. I'd love to see what you guys are drawing. Just call me Cheyenne. I made that username at 13. Before birthday Cheyenne. Oh, okay. Cool. Cute cat. Thanks, Kelly. If you could pick any job, what did you picture yourself doing? If I could pick any job, I mean, I'd love to be like a creative director or something. I'd also love to do something kind of charitable, but I'd feel bad if I made my living off of charity. You know what I mean? Like, I'd kind of rather produce something. But I don't know, like, all the stuff that I'd want to do, I'm not sure if I'd be qualified for. Being like I said, a creative director at like a game company. I mean, as of right now, I'd love to work as an illustrator somewhere. But again, that's like one of those things where I'm like, am I good enough? Am I good enough to be an illustrator? I don't know. Who knows? But I think the perfect job, like if you're talking about like a dream job, being out there and meeting people, like a really highly paid host of a show or a promotional person would be cool. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, any job that pays you isn't gonna be fun at some point, so it's hard to speculate as to what would remain entertaining and stimulating and all that. So let's just say creative director for a game company, a board game company. Just call me Cheyenne. If you could pick any job, thanks. Mulan trailer was dropped. I haven't seen it. I only saw the poster, but the poster looks pretty accurate to the cartoon version. I don't know. Not as good as them, but they don't judge, nor do I. They're super sweet girls. Met last year. One of them was a kid Loki. I was grown-up female Loki. Super fun. Good, Christine. That, you know what? And hey, Melissa. I think that's the number one thing I talk about when people say, like, should I cosplay this? I haven't cosplayed yet. Should I go to this con? I have never gone to a con. Should I do this? Should I do that? And it's like, do the thing that's going to be fun for you, first of all. And secondly, the thing that is going to enable you to go around and make friends, because people will be able to see that you did this thing, and they'll be like, oh, hey, I also enjoy doing that thing. Because going to a con in a costume isn't inherently fun. You're on your feet all day. You're either hot or cold, depending on how heavily clad you are. And you just, you're potentially going to be real uncomfortable. You're not going to have a lot of pockets. So, like, people want to know, should I cosplay? And I think what they're asking is, am I going to be good, and are people going to be nice to me in a cosplay? And the truth of that matter is, I don't know. Like, that's not really the point, though. The point is to go and meet people that, appreciate what you've done, but more importantly, that you're going to be able to talk to out of costume, and they're still going to be good people to you. So, I don't know. Take that however you want. But, it's fine. Yeah, Eris, I don't know. As soon as I start talking on these streams, I'm, like, ready to go to bed. And it's not that I'm bored. It's almost that I'm exhausting myself by thinking too much, so I start, like, yawning. There's another one. I don't know why. That would be a cool part of cosplay. I mean, yeah, that's how I've made a lot of friends through cosplay. So, I mean, that's why all you guys are here is through cosplay. You saw some pictures or whatever, heard about me through someone who traces back to me being at a convention or on something that's related to Loki cosplay. So that's what it's good for. What it's bad for is meeting people that want to compete with you for no reason, people that want you to help them succeed. If you ever get a message that asks you to share what they're doing in exchange for them sharing what you're doing, chances are you're getting the better end of that. So don't do share for share stuff. It's never gonna benefit you. I mean, unless you're just feeling generous and you don't mind sharing people's stuff, in which case go ahead, go for it. But don't buy into the stupid share for share stuff. Is that how? Yeah, it's how I met Steven. Yeah, so I mean, that's how I met ThorTV. That's how I met a lot. That's actually kind of how I met Amada. She started following on this stuff, and then we talked because of that. So don't get any ideas, guys, please, about me saying that. But it's true. Meeting people, easy to start talk. Some international people said that it's easier than in UK. Yeah, I mean, at some places, I find that making friends at anime conventions is actually easier because people are there people there are just chatty and happy and talky, which isn't necessarily always what I wanted to do. The friendship thing came a little easier than I even wanted at some conventions, so I ended up with like more acquaintances than I needed at the time, and so I ended up with a few friends or people that I had at that point come to be associated with, and then it's like, ooh, I find out a couple things about this guy or that girl or whatever, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll take a step back from this community or this person or whatever. So, take that all with a grain of salt as far as like, you're doing really well, making friends and meeting people, but careful not to make the wrong friends because that'll bite you in the ass later on. I say hi to Fabulous RJ. Hi, RJ. Phase 4 Comic-Con and the Avengers game. Yeah. I heard Marvel's going to be doing a Hall H thing, and I'm sure they're going to talk about the Avengers game. But I think that Phase 4 stuff is going to be... they're going to be leaving the Avengers behind. I mean, we'll probably see Thor and maybe Black Panther and Doctor Strange hanging around the Marvel Universe, but it seems like they're going to be focusing on the Immortals and stuff. So, we'll see. We shall see. Did you get a lot of girls kneeling to you at conventions? All sorts of people find it funny to be like, oh, I'm going to kneel. And then I'm like, get the fuck up. We're not taking a picture. So that's usually what would happen with the kneeling thing. Between kneeling and people coming up and being like, so, are you keeping it low key? And I'm like, I don't want to do this with you right now. That's a pretty typical thing as well. Can be a little odd socially. That's true. Got to be nice and honest. Yeah, and I mean, that's not to say I like talking to whoever at an anime convention. Like, I'm happy to talk to everybody. It's the people that immediately take out their phones and go like, oh, hey, give me your name on Facebook. Now we're like permanently in touch. Like, that sort of stuff goes up my ass pretty quick because it's like, well, that wasn't part of our social contract. The social contract is we see each other, we say hi, and then we will go in our separate ways. I almost want to get together in person with somebody before I want to be Facebook friends with them. I definitely want to do that because it's like, I kind of have a rule of, if I get a friend request on Facebook, if I haven't eaten an entire meal with that person, chances are I don't want to accept their friend request. And I don't. And I'm sure there's some people who are like, oh, I sent Bill a friend request and he didn't accept it. And that's true because I can't. Because it's always that guy or girl whose friend request you accepted yesterday that then floods your timeline with like bullshit, like just random memes and shit that's like, repost this in 5 seconds or a little girl's gonna haunt your dick hole. And it's like, I don't know, I don't want to see that anymore. So then you unfollow them, and then they're just this like useless contact that's in your list of friends. And then they end up doing something shitty down the line, and people see that you're like ghost friends with them, and they're like, oh, well, Bill's friends with this idiot, so I don't want to be friends with that person anymore. So careful at cons about who you give your info to. You gotta kind of think about how you can back out of social situations from time to time. Yeah, the low-key thing, I get sick of that real quick. Thinking about being Loki for Halloween. Kelly, you better start working on that costume. Such a bad joke. Hey Wraith. I've seen you popping on and off of Steam every once in a while. I've actually been playing a little bit of Borderlands because they released that expansion. So I'm currently trying to figure out how I can get into kill the final boss guy that comes as the end boss for the new expansion. But I'm playing in like true Vault Hunter mode, and it's very hard because I didn't optimize my weapons. I just play with like the most straightforward weapons I can find, and every tutorial that I look up online that's like, here's how you beat this guy, involves me having like some insanely weird weapon that I needed to like treasure hunt for months, and I'm not doing that right now. Deku, bad joke. It would be tough not to punch them. You can do it. You never have to be violent with people, Eris. Maybe just a little rude. My friend bought me a Deku cosplay. And me and her like to go out and cosplay to see people's reactions. So I can't wait to go out and cosplay with her as Deku. You should, Hiddlesmuffin. That'll be fun. Especially around Halloween. Right? You don't know them. You're not required to accept their friendship. Sure, RJ, but it also kind of puts a damper on somebody's day when you're like, I'm not going to give you my information. So sometimes you get pressured into it, but you can always delete them later, right? A lot of Loki jokes get old really fast, especially when you hear them all the time. And I do hear them all the time, Silver Sky Dragon. A lot of the... who was I talking to? Oh, yeah. Another cosplayer friend of mine brought her kids to an event that I was at, and they were good kids, and they were being talkative, and they were like, did you know that Loki had kids with a snake or something? And I was like, yeah, I get it, I know, it's weird, like, it's mythology. Read up on Zeus, though. Like, he turned into a swan and took advantage of a woman. Like, it's all terrible and weird and bestial. It's people had different sensibilities back then. I haven't gotten to the new DLC yet. I've been messing with Skyrim glitches. That's cool, right? Zeus also turned into an ox. So it's like they're all doing weird, awful shit. What trailer are you hoping to see in Comic-Con? I'm hoping for Venom versus Carnage. Yeah, I'm not hoping for Venom versus Carnage. I'm hoping they drop the Venom thing and give it to Spider-Man. I'd rather see Spider-Man. The Spider-Man movies get characters than to watch like Sony or whatever keep making whatever the hell they're making. It's some weird shit going on. It does, Wraith. Trailers I am hoping to see. I'd like to see something to do with Invincible. Whether that's, I think there's a TV show and a movie in the works. So I'd like to kind of see both of those start to get fleshed out a little bit. Invincible. Dark Crystal? I don't know. What else is exciting that's happening? The Spawn movie? Maybe there's some concept art that can be shown from that. That'd be cool. But, It'll happen when it happens. I'm not in any rush. I hope they don't rush any of it. Like, I just want them to make it right rather than making it quick. So, Invincible and Spawn, let's say that. Yeah, Dark Crystal, right? That's the one they're making on Netflix. They're making like a new version of the Dark Crystal, I believe. Sony sucks unless aided by the MCU. Sorry. Yeah, Eris, I mean, I'm not saying they suck. Like, there were some good Spider-Man movies, even Amazing Spider-Man. Not terrible movies, but I mean, compared to Homecoming and Far From Home, like, those are just the better movies. Homecoming and Far From Home were great, and what's his name? Tom Holland. He's a great Spider-Man. So I hope that those kind of get not fast tracked, but I hope those get priority over making more of the Venom movies with Tom Hardy, because that stupid Tom Hardy movie was whatever. It was whatever. I'm not gonna go through it with you guys, like, as far as like what I liked and what I didn't like, but the people that loved the Venom movie just loved Venom, the comics, the imagery, whatever, and they're willing to give a pass to a movie that happens to feature their favorite character. I hope you get your dream job. You've been such an inspiration to me. And don't get embarrassed now as I make things weird for you. Just gotta say you inspired me to pursue my hobbies. Well, that's nice, Christine. Yeah, I mean, I believe that I'm worthy of doing things. I just don't like to waste my time building like customized fucking pitches to every job that I apply to, so that I can be like, hey, I made this just for you, so that they can say like, nah, we hired the fucking world's best illustrator for a comparable price because the internet is available. So thanks for nothing. This guy is the best, and we're taking him. I love Tom Hardy's Venom. That was probably the last comic book film I genuinely enjoyed. Kind of tired of everything releasing only being Marvel Disney. Yeah, Wraith. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you love it, you love it. I don't think that Venom had nearly as much emotional depth as literally any Marvel movie that's ever been made. Like, even the worst Marvel movies, Dark World, in my opinion, is one of the least strong Marvel movies. Was better than Venom, because it's like Venom's like, I'm a bad guy, so I'm here now. Now you have to find your way into science lab. Okay, well, you did it. Now big fight. Okay, movie's over. Thanks. Who cares? I'm not gonna lie, I love the Venom character and Eddie Brock, but the movie could have been much better. Yeah, I'm not trying to like make two teams right now. That's Venom people versus non-Venom people. As a matter of fact, like, I just saw Detective Pikachu, another fine whatever movie. Like, people loved it when they saw it, but I saw it today and I was like, oh, this is just another movie where it's like, hey, here's the CG character. We're gonna make jokes until we break into a science lab, and then there's the bad guy. Okay, big fight at the end. Done. Just gotta find a way into that science lab. That's what all the movies are about. What's that? You like, Blade? Well, here's the bad guy. Heard they're concocting a way to make blood juice or something. Find your way into the science lab. Okay, here's a big fight. What's that? Resident Evil? Oh, bad guy, science lab, goodbye. Fifth Element, here's a bad guy. Find your way onto the space cruise ship. Okay, big fight, done. Hey, Northman Spellbound, I'm doing all right. But what about Disney series thing? Isn't that MCU? Well, the Loki Disney Plus show is going to be Disney. But I don't know. I mean, it's all we've seen of it is one piece of concept art that was photographed with Kevin Feige in front of it. So there's really not much speculation that can be made. Loki back in the MCU, maybe reincarnated by the end of the series, maybe. Yeah, Eris, I wouldn't hold your breath for Loki to be reincarnated. Like, it could happen, but it's he's kind of a one-trick pony. Like, he's already done that a little bit, so take it or leave it. I don't know. Marvel weirdly hates how popular Loki is, so I'm not looking forward to see what they do with him. Like, read interviews and stuff. It's really weird how they view him. Well, Wraith, I mean, he's sort of the devil. I mean, in Norse mythology, he's the devil. And it's cute. It's like giving him the name God of Mischief. Mischief is such a lighthearted word, but it's like, in a lot of ways, he's sort of the god of cruelty and jealousy and a lot of flaws. So for Marvel to kind of not want him to be this heroic character, I get it, because he's supposed to be someone that you can't trust, and he's supposed to be someone that you're conflicted about having involved at all. He's a character that you should be more conflicted about, whether or not he's put to death for what he's done, than whether or not you're oh, should I be sexually attracted to him? No, you should be wondering whether or not he's better off dead. But they gave him a couple good lines, and he's played by Tom Hiddleston, so people like him. And now Marvel's we really don't want to glorify this character who, when you look at him, when you look back at his history, he's a fucking real pain in the ass. He's a scoundrel. And I mean, yeah, after the Avengers came out and after Thor came out, it's oh, well, Agent of Asgard or whatever, and Kid Loki, and he's sympathetic and stuff, but it's yeah, but all that stuff happened after people started liking him. God of Chaos. Let's see. Movies. These movies need you to critique them before they release them. I'm not trying to get my hands on stuff before it's released. Do you have a favorite go-to film? Eris, I'll always watch an Avengers movie, and even any of the superhero movies leading up to the Avengers. Actually, I want to watch Iron Man, the original Iron Man, again. I haven't seen that one in a real long time. Weirdly hates how popular Loki. Okay. I think one of my favorite, Despicable Me. I've watched that one. That was okay. These movies need you to critique. Okay. Tom Holland. Maybe had Tom Holland interacted with the Black Symbiote and Eddie Brock. The post-credits scene with Venom. I'm thinking of better ideas here. Yeah, Nolan, I mean, that's just a licensing thing. As long as Tom Hardy is playing Venom, that version is never gonna make it over to the Marvel cinema universe. So whatever. My Loki drawing didn't turn out that bad. It just kind of looked possessed because I didn't draw the irises yet. Oh, cool. I like irisless characters. Loki is the devil, yes. Smiley face. Again, yeah, I mean, that's a point of view thing. The whole obsession with people who are oh, Lucifer's a really good show. And I'm okay. I tried watching Lucifer for an episode, and I'm going to tell you, it did not float my boat. Some guy who just raises his eyebrow a lot, claiming to be the devil, and people are oh wow, I'm into that. I don't know, it's been done before, so I didn't go any further with Lucifer because it just didn't seem like something I'd be interested in. More of a devil than Surtur. Well, I mean, yeah. Surtur is more of a tyrant, a barbarian leader. The Frost Giants and the Fire Giants are sort of meant to be a threat as a group. And Surtur, like, was just a giant at first until he got a hold of, like, that other relic, that crown. And then he was, this big giant devil man. But his thing was that he just wanted to destroy Asgard. Not that he wanted to screw everything up for everyone all the time, which is kind of looking back at Loki in history, like that's sort of Loki's deal. Is like, oh, here's something that people like, I'm gonna ruin it for them because I'm that guy. God of chaos, self-obsessed, creative. As a heathen, Loki is nowhere near the devil in mythology. We don't even have a devil figure. Odin would fit that more than Loki would. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, someone who just sort of needlessly takes things away. Now, so here's where we're getting into, like, what Odin is. And again, this is another thing where it's like, Odin is such a bad father. Odin is this awful, heartless person. Odin is a terrible role model. Odin is bad. But you have to understand that culturally, back then, and even still now, like, he was just a conservative king. Like, he was a king who believed in strength through whatever means necessary, and that often meant making really hard decisions. And so Odin, if he makes a mistake, he's like a politician now, where it's like, if he does a bad job on anything, he's considered to be bad in all aspects, where all he's ever wanted to do was look after the well-being of the whole of the world. And he's had to make really drastic sacrifices in order to do that. And I mean, yeah, it sucks, but then you've got Loki, who is a prince, who's not really given all that much responsibility. He's not the king, but he takes it upon himself to interfere with things, and it makes everything worse. Whereas Odin is charged with all the responsibility, and no matter what decision he makes, he's bound to hurt someone. So I have more sympathy for Odin than I do for Loki, if you want to get into this conversation. But they're both archetypes, and I always think it's really funny that people are like, well, Loki deserves more trust and he's just damaged. And it's like, no. He's not just damaged. He is damage. He's the concept of damage that has a face and arms and legs. Like, he cannot be fixed by anyone ever, because that's what he is the crack in the teacup. He's the fly in the ointment. He is the flaw. Loki is the flaw. And so the kind of fantasy of, oh, but if Loki found me and let me win his friendship, I could help him be a better person. And it's like, no. In trying, you would be destroyed. Like, that's the point of Loki as a character. He destroys beautiful things by touching it, and it sucks, and it seems like a tortured existence, but also, like, it's what he's good at, and it's what he has to embrace, because it's like anything that you've ever been naturally good at and enjoyed, like, that's what he's meant to be, is the prodigy of sabotage, a prodigy of sort of undermining things and destruction, of chaos. And someone said God of chaos, and it's true. Like, the whole idea of chaos is that everything that you've put together, chaos tears apart. And think that's what Loki is meant to show, is that he's good at tearing things apart. But he's also the voice telling you to make a white lie to get that promotion you always deserved. I don't know. I don't know if Loki's sort of meant to be that constructive. Like, no one's ever succeeded and done something constructive with a lie, and then everyone's been like, oh, thank Loki for that. Aside from people who just say thank Loki for every good thing in their life, because they choose to have Loki be the patron saint of sexiness for them or whatever. But it's like, it's more like, you shouldn't ever say thank Loki. You should be saying thank Loki when something doesn't happen bad to you, because it's always like he's ready to pull the lever and drop the anvil on your head. And when you see an opportunity for mischief that doesn't happen, that's when you should sort of praise the restraint of the character, rather than when you see something good that does happen, you look to this obviously chaotic character and thank them for making it happen for you, which they would never do. Let's see. Love that song. Having a bad day. Okay. Have to go. Bye, Kelly. Any ideas on how to pin an Eva foam diadem to the hair? You glue a hairpin to the inside of it. And just slide it on like that. I mean, if you need it to attach to your hair, it's tough. But you can add those little comby things, those little, I don't know what they're called. It's like a comb that you just get it, and it's made by Goody. I don't know. But yeah, hairpins will usually do it. There's got to be a million tutorials on how to attach pieces of propsmanship onto hair. Just look it up. Any idea? Depends on how you define the devil. Family guy who stays down under. A flamey guy who stays down under, or a dude who makes people fall to their weakness. Yeah, Christine. I mean, the imagery of a red man, a red satyr with a tail and stuff, and a pitchfork, who lives in a place that's under the ground, is a mix of different pagan images that were adopted by various Christian entities to personify villainhood. That's not correct either, but it's like, generally anything that's going to hurt not only the person in the story, but the people surrounding that person, that's the devil. For me, it's going to cause more misfortune than the failing at whatever the main conflict was. And it's like, oh well, I don't want to lose my home, so I'm going to do this thing that I know is wrong, but it'll save my home. And then by the end of the story, like, you've cost yourself your home, your reputation. You've succeeded in doing what you wanted to do, but you've destroyed more than you meant to save. That, to me, is what Loki sort of embodies and offers, and that's the semblance to the devil that I'm talking about. What I loved about Loki, which is, for all the versions of him, is his will to go on no matter how much is against him. I'm not saying lying is a good thing. Yeah, Christine, I mean, I think that's just a God thing. You're going to live, and the best you're going to be able to do is have a God kind of retire to hermitage. And even then, usually the story where you hear about a god that's done that is they get found and they come out of retirement to do their thing again. So I can't say that resolve is necessarily something that's unique to Loki as a character. It's an interesting way to see it when misfortune doesn't happen. Gotta find glue. I didn't say hi to Karen. Hi, Karen. I thank Loki because of him. I have the opportunity to meet awesome people like you and Steven. Yeah, I would thank Marvel for that more. Again, like that's not a like I don't know. Thanking Loki, I've seen many people sort of profess that they're like, oh, really, I'm a follower of the Church of Loki or whatever, the deity that is Loki, and it's like, why be that edgy? Like, why don't you follow the god of the harvest or a god of love or the god of ingenuity? Instead, you're like, nah, I like the god of being a little troublesome, of being a hindrance to everyone, because that's what I think the world needs more of. And it's like, there's so many people doing shitty things and then justifying it with like, I'm just a troublesome little guy, that's all. You can't contain me because I'm free and I'm like a little fucking cherub that, gets in your business, but it's what's owed to me. Like, that's bullshit. Like, you go around harming people and then you attribute the harm you've done to freedom, and that's supposed to be admirable. And it's not. Like, that's what the whole that's what all these far leaning political problems are now, is just people being like, oh, did I break your little law? Can you not handle how intense I am? And it's like, no, I can't handle the harm you've done. Like, it's not about me trying to crush your freedom. It's about me trying to live without all the bullshit you've piled onto everyone else while claiming to, like, just be living your nature, living your best life or whatever. Maybe thank the writers. I see your point, though. His attitude, too. His way to have fun. He's inspiring. Okay. Loki is like Set, Egyptian god of chaos. Sure. Hey, Cottonmouth, welcome. I personally don't think you understand the character that well, but I'm not going to get into it. Or rather, agree to disagree. Sure, Wraith. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's, I personally think a lot of us have lost scope. Anytime there's a story that involves a character that does something and it pisses off the majority of people, it gets downplayed. If it comes out as cute, like, it's fine, but also, like, in the meat of that story, oftentimes it's like, yeah, freedom trickster did his thing, and it caused an unexpected problem to be set off. There was a couple decades of war, and then everything turned out fine, and we ended up with an excellent crop yield. And it's like, oh, okay, so there was just a few thousand deaths in between here and there, and that's fine. Like, or a man had to, like, journey to a world where he lost his eye and his arm and his wife and his kids or something, but at the end of the story we got a good moral out of it, so that's important, right? Like, even the story of, like, David and Goliath, it's like, oh, David's such a hero for basically fending off an entire army with a sling by challenging the biggest and baddest, but Goliath still had to die. Like, that's an entire nation's hero that had to be killed in open combat in order for resolution to happen. And it's like, there's nothing more diplomatic that could have happened. Like, every story, if it were to happen in real life, like, yeah, if there's more harm than good done, great, but also, like, if murder happened in there at all, we forget that really fast as, like, oh, price of doing business, you know what I mean? Gotta find glue. There's a comic glue and there's MCU Loki. That's the base of the, if you call it that. I don't think it is. Also, I'm getting confused whether we're talking about MCU because they only share a name. Right, Wraith. So, yeah, I mean, I'm talking about both. MCU Loki is supposed to be sort of the cuter, more endearing one, but also there's one sentence that stands out. He killed 80 people in the first Avengers movie. He killed 80 people. That's in the time between getting the Tesseract and being captured. He killed 80 people. Now, this is a fictional world. The people didn't really exist. But in the real world, if there was any human being who single-handedly was responsible for killing 80 people, I don't care who he looks like. There's no redemption arc for that. They could have been soldiers he killed. They could have, and that's the other thing too. Is we look at war heroes and it's like, oh, this guy's got 93 confirmed kills, and it's like, okay, like, yeah, it was in wartime and it was other soldiers, but that's still a human being who killed 93 people or whatever. And so, yeah, Loki ends up helping a lot. It's, oh, he probably saved thousands. It's like, but he killed 80 people in 2 days. Then there was an alien invasion which killed thousands because he did what he did. If you're going to turn around and say, oh, but Odin's a dickhead because of war, it's like, why? Why do you get to draw the line between those two? Both of them cause wars. I don't know. It's just crazy to me that, like, these things get ignored because like a movie says he's a good guy now, and it's like, the 80 people are still dead. They don't get snapped back. They got killed earlier, just like Loki didn't get snapped back, as far as we know. Guess what we're discussing? I had the opportunity to watch the first Thor movie with all the deleted scenes included. Believe me, the story is very different from the theatrical version, as you can understand, and you can understand Loki. Now, I don't know. I don't know. Like, is it? If the mantle of a king is passed down biologically, typically, and there's another prince who is adopted by the current king, and then the crown gets passed down to the biological son, the older biological son, whether he's a douchebag or not, that's monarchy. That's how it works. Like, that's how it goes in the real world. And is it right? No. But does it justify a different prince who might be more intelligent or whatever, better at a couple things, more level-headed? Does it mean that he gets to rewrite how monarchy works? Like, no, because that's called a coup, and that's a war. Not to mention, like, that's not, yeah, I guess that's not even mentioning all the frost giants that died. They wanted to be left alone. They were at a stalemate until events were set in motion by somebody. That was like genocide. They killed a lot of those frost giants. They had families. They had to have mothers and fathers and children. Like, but they're dead now because somebody else wanted to be king. Who knew? He was also brainwashed and controlled by Thanos. I don't buy it. I don't buy the brainwash thing. He was the one going around doing the brainwashing, as far as I could tell. There was no explicit exposition of Loki being brainwashed during the events of Avengers. He had his ability to defend himself in front of Odin in Dark World. He never bothered. He seemed honestly pretty defensive about it in a way that was childish. So I just don't have a lot of sympathy for the character, and I think it's really funny that people are like, but he needs a million more chances, and it's like, no, he's just gonna kill more people because of ambition. I mean, even up into Ragnarok, like, he still tries to stop Thor from going back to Asgard by doing the little electrocuting thing. And it's like, I don't know. Was that a means to an end? Is that part of the path? Maybe, but it's still how he operates. Black Widow killed a lot of people too. You're right. Black Widow did kill a lot of people, but there are a lot fewer apologists for Black Widow. And those that are usually... You also have to keep in mind that Black Widow is also always paying a penance. She always owes a debt to either the government that's keeping her out of prison or the people that have sort of protected her. And in doing that, she's sort of deprived of having a love life, having a family, having all these things that oftentimes the other characters are at least allowed to pursue. And she's dead too. You know, maybe the TV series or whatever the movie is going to bring her back, but she paid in blood, just like Loki did. So, yeah, I mean, she killed people, but she is an anti-hero. Like, none of them are Captain America. Not even Thor. And Thor's a dick as well. Like, so to me, it's like, when they die, they die. And if they've done a lot of good, if they've done more good than harm by the time they die, like, great. But I don't know. I just have very little sympathy for Loki, I guess. For being that's so many thousands of years old, and I'm sorry, seems due a very big apology to a lot of different people. If it's enough about Loki, what's on your heart? Do you want to talk about? Do you need to vent about something? No, not really, Christine. This isn't the place for me to open my heart, because honestly, with this many people kind of tuning in who don't really hang out with me in a personal capacity much, the last thing I want to do is be like, hey guys, here's what's really on my mind, because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen then. I start getting messages from people who know almost nothing about me and my history, and they're like, oh, I want to help. Oh, tell me more about that thing you said was weighing on your mind. And it's like, you're putting more on me to make me have to be like, oh, so back when I was 7, like, somebody said this to me at school, and now I'm insecure about this, and that's why now I'm 36 and I think about this all the time. Like, don't worry about what's weighing heavy on my heart. I'd rather talk about fictional characters than try and be like, well guys, today I'm having a really hard time because of XYZ. Because then I start getting roped into, oh yeah, I also suffer from XYZ, and that's not something that I want to become a spokesperson for, nor hear from the spokesperson for it. I just want to, I'll deal with it in my very personal sort of life. By somebody, I think the reasons why fans of Loki are so torn about him being good or evil is because the actor Tom Hiddleston is a sex symbol. I mean, I don't disagree, Chris. Tom did make Loki rather redeemable. They wanted that, but they did a very good job at it. Yeah, PGC's back there. Too good of a job. What did I miss? Not a lot. We're analyzing Loki and company. Have you seen the pics I took from my time in Florida? Yeah, looks like you had a really good time, Chris. I'm happy that you got to kind of meet some cosplayers and looked like you picked up some merch. So that's the way to do a con. That's nice. We're coming into the final minute here. I just thought you might be tired of discussing Loki. It's fun hearing you answer those, though. It's fine. It's cool, Christine. Like, I just want you guys to know that if you're ever looking for like really deep personal conversations from me on these streams, like, it's just not the place for me to do it. There's a lot of things that I feel more comfortable than most talking about. So, I might bring up a topic or whatever, But I'm not gonna go into my personal life, and I'm not gonna like start trying to convince anybody of anything, because the last thing I need is me on video saying, here's my beliefs about what happens in the real world and how the world should be run and how people should behave and who's bad and good and stuff. Like, there's obviously some behavior that is just bad. Anything that harms another person needlessly is bad. But I try not to take any real strong political stances, at least not for very long, because I don't know. Maybe I can sort of win a few people who lean in the opposite direction of me by not being real hard bitten about it. Like, I'd rather just be like, here's how I like to behave, and keep shoveling that in there. Things con are stupidly expensive. They are, Brianna. Didn't expect personal stuff, more like maybe another car door. Another car door. Like walking into... I don't know. No, nothing really. Annoying people. True, or harms them because they have themselves have unresolved issues. Yeah, we're all dealing with some shit. Anyways, guys, I am going to get ready to go pick up Amada, because she's going to be coming into the airport soon. I think I'm going to get a snack, practice driving in Borderlands, see how many things I can crash into. Well, I'm also going to be playing Borderlands Wraith, so if you want to join my game, if you got a level 54 character, that's where I'll be at. And I'm happy to drive around with you. Will there be a later stream today? There will not, Brianna. This was an hour-long stream, so maybe next Monday I'll finally get my shit together, and we'll do an early and a late one, because I will not be at STCC yet. So, next Monday, keep an eye out. Let's do it. About the meaning of life is don't be a douchebag. Agreed. Level 30 or 35. I might have a siren at 30 or 35. We'll see. I'm going to play probably Borderlands for like an hour now. When I say I'm going to get ready to go pick up Amada from the airport, I mean I'm going to play Borderlands for like an hour. So sue me. Alright guys, I'll talk to you all soon. Be good. Treat each other fairly. And I miss you, love you, bye.